When you wear this, your body will transform into a beauty no man has ever seen. No man will look at you once without looking twice. Folake was as slim as a dry stick. Her face was ugly as monkey, not beautiful, and did not have a good body shape like the other ladies with nice figure in Omoli village. But she had one thing every woman in Omoli village prayed to have. No matter how poor a man was, if he marry Folake within a week, his life will transform to good. A wealth from nowhere will hit the man just like a bullet hit a stone. The man would become very rich more than his imagination. Alani and Folake had been married for years, and they loved each other so much that the villagers wondered why Alani could love someone known as the ugliest woman in the village. One day, Alani suddenly disappeared. Folake could not find him. She searched the village, asking if anyone had seen her husband. But none of the villagers said they saw Alani. Folake cried because she believed Alani was kidnapped. 3 days later, many suitors were already standing in front of Folake's house, but truly none of the men truly loved her. But because they knew the kind of blessing they would receive if Folake agreed to marry them, even if just for a day. When Folake saw them, tears rolled down her cheeks. She rejected them and they all left. After waiting and searching for Alani for several months and not finding him, Folake believed Alani was dead. She then decided to marry Adio, one of the farmers in the village. Adio did not love Folake because she was not beautiful. He pretended to love her. In just 2 days of marrying her, Adio's farm, which no one had been patronizing, was suddenly full of people wanting to buy from him. Within a few months, Adio became rich. When he notices he have received his blessing and what she needed from Folake, he left Folake to marry Aina, and so more men married Folake after this, and after receiving the blessing, they all left for another woman. So they were all using Folake as a stepping stone to become wealthy before marrying their true love. Folake was now frustrated. She would lock herself inside. No one had ever loved her the way Alani had. Her story spread through the village. They called her a blessing but an ugly one. One day, Folake decided to leave the village. She packed her belongings, walking away slowly with tears on her eyes, not knowing where she was going. She walked through the forest, lost and hopeless. Suddenly, she met an old woman on the road. The old woman stopped her and asked her why she was crying. Folake explained everything, how she had been used and abandoned by men. The old woman told her not to cry. "I will help you," she said. "Every man in the village will want to marry you, not because of the blessing in you again, but because of your beauty." Then the old woman put her hand in the small bag she was carrying and brought out a pant and bra. "When you wear this, your body will transform into a beauty no man has ever seen. No man will look at you once without looking twice, and head will always turn anywhere you step into." Folake took the underwear and thanked the old woman. She returned to the village. When she got home, she put underwear on, and instantly, her body started changing. Her skin was getting fresh like she has used the most expensive cream on her. Her body shape stood out sharp like a lady who did BBL. The first day she stepped out, the villagers were shocked and find it hard to believe it was Folake. No one could look at her once. Now, every man in the village wanted to marry her, but only if Folake and the villagers knew the dark secret behind this. The first man Folake married after her transformation was Akin. On Folake and Akin's wedding night, his biggest farm caught fire. He almost went mad. Within a month, Akin realized that since marrying Folake, his life had been falling apart. Some month after he divorced Folake and left, completely broke. When Folake saw this, she knew this was the price she had to pay for the beauty. She knew the blessing in her has been turned into curse. She was not happy with it, but at the same time she enjoyed the fact that every man in the village still wanted to marry her and love her truly no matter what. The second man who married Folake was Bashiru. 3 days after their wedding, he was later found dead where he hung himself on a tree. But this did not stop the men in the village from wanting to marry Folake as wife. Many men still came for her, and Folake enjoyed the attention. Then, one day, Alani, Folake's first love, returned back to the village. Alani had been kidnapped by some of the village men because they wanted to marry Folake because they also want to be blessed with the blessing she have in her. But as they kidnap him, he find a way to escape. And since then he have been afraid to show up in Omoli village because he believed they might kidnap him again. But today he has decided to return. When Alani arrived, the villagers were shocked. They had thought he was dead. When Folake saw him, she fainted. For the first time, she started regretting what she had done. She knew that if she and Alani return into their married life, Alani would never be the same again, or he might even die. Just like the other men, because her blessing has now turned into a curse. That night, Folake returned to the old woman in the forest. She begged her to restore her to her former self, the woman whose relationship could bless any man she married. Now, she wanted her normal life back because she had seen the man who had truly loved her. So the old woman agreed. But she warned, "If I return you to your normal self, the moment person who truly loves you lays his eyes on you, the person will die." Folake was shocked when she heard this. She begged for another option, tears rolling down her cheeks. But the old woman said this was the only way. Folake cried, regretting her impatience and the choices she had made. But at the end, she agreed to return to her normal self and she left. The next day, Folake was nowhere to be found in the village. And later, she was discovered at the entrance of the forest. She had hanged herself. Folake had chosen to die rather than let Alani die. Beside her, she left a letter explaining everything. How it all started, what had happened, and the terrible mistake she had made. The villagers blamed themselves for what they had caused the innocent woman to do. When Alani heard the news, he cried like a baby. He had lost the only person who had truly loved him. From then on, Folake's story became a lesson that the villagers would never forget. They passed it down from generation to generation as a warning. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the story, type enjoy in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you again in our next video.